I just sat down with the president of Disney Channel and said,
I want to make history. And that's what this is.
Hello everyone, my name is Bus Bus, and welcome to my video.
Hey. Yay! Love you guys.
So, what are we doing here today? We are, well, not we, you're not doing anything, you're just watching it. But I am covering the whole Winx Club timeline from the beginning of time all the way through the end of season 8. Let's talk about those ground rules. The starting point, which is, I know, a very ingenious concept. I don't think anyone would ever think of that, taking the first episode of season 1 as the nexus point. 2004, specifically on Bloom's summer vacation, on the same day, her studies at Alfea start, which, for moi,
Vive la France! We are in Paris!
meant that every season or every year, school at Alfea would start with the beginning of summer, continue for 9 months, and would finish at the end of winter. And each season usually takes up about a school year. Without further ado, I think like you are ready to enter the void and to learn about the world of Winx Club. First, there was nothing, but then the light appeared, and the great dragon was born out of it. The universe and its variety of magical worlds was created with his fire. Growing tired, the dragon laid to rest, and the luscious world of Domino spread from beneath that spot. From then on, a spark of the dragon's flame is passed down through Domino's royal family bloodline. From a small spark of the dragon's flame, the wishing star is born, which has the ultimate power and can grant any wish to the one possessing it. It lives in the light dimension, but travels through the magic dimension every 1,000 years. From the same flame, the first fairy is born, Arcadia, who is the ancestor to all fairies. Belladonna, Lilith, and Tharma are born as the realm's first witches in the realm of Obsidian. A dark and evil force emerges from the void, called the Shadow Phoenix, who manages to recruit the help of the 3 ancestral witches. An opposite energy to the dragon's flame is born, contained in the water stars. However, both energies could not coexist in the same dimension without causing chaos. So the ancient wizards came together to collect them and seal them off in another dimension, the Golden Kingdom. The water stars are guarded by the Council of Elders, which includes Arcadia, a Pegator, a mermaid, and a flying creature, who have been existing since the beginning of the magic universe and live as a part of time and outside of time all at once. A small spark of the dragon's flame falls into the darkness. 2 energies mix together, and the 3 ancestral witches find it. The lesbian coven.
Call your girlfriend.
Chapel Road. Renee Rapp. And the 3rd lesbian. Pop singer.
Oh, help me, but don't tell me to deny it.
And Stevie Nicks. I don't know. Here's that. As they nurtured into a warlock named Valtor, the witches sent him on a quest, conquering the world. Oh no, not season 7. I'm not ready. Winx travel in time to find the Cry-Cries, possibly the oldest animal in the universe. Rophilius hypnotizes local fauna to attack the girls, and since they are flying in Stella's dinosaur costumes to blend in, they almost fall to their deaths.
Death to all of them.
Oh. Aisha rescues and bonds with the Cry-Cry, but their kind turns out not to be the first animal of the universe. The Winx arrive to prehistoric lemur forest, only for Stella to be immediately snatched by a giant lemur, who falls in love with her. As the Winx retrieve Stella by luring the animal with a giant pile of bananas, they prepare to travel back to the future. The lemur, however, gets a hold of Stella last second and teleports with them. Die! Rophilius travels inside Zenith Core to the origin of technomagic, a glowing orb with tech squirrels maintaining it. He snatches one of the squirrels to analyze it, only for the core to lose its stability. The Winx arrive to find the place in complete shambles, and it takes Techna and the squirrel to connect to the essence of techno magic to restore it. Sword Ring of Solaria is sculpted out of stone, immersed in the spring of light, created by the sacred fire, and is passed down through the royal family of Solaria. The Vortex of Flame is an existing fire pit on Domino, as well as a testing ground for the Keepers of the Dragon's Flame. Both F5 had a dragon, and the Fire Eaters reside there. The Fire Eaters are shackled to the place since it weakens them, and their only desire is escaping and wreaking havoc on Domino. Evil Red Willow resides on a giant turtle's shell. It spreads a poisonous sleep gas, which makes the turtle sleepwalk and terrorize the Black Mud Swamp and its inhabitants. The Library of Alexandria's existence is believed to come to an end in a great fire. However, in reality, it is made a secret with only a few people in the know. The power of Vortex of Flame has grown uncontrollable and too fierce, so it is no longer safe to use by the Dragon's Flame Keepers. Thea's knights transform themselves into human-shaped trees, and later fall into temporal slumber. At some point in the future, the Linthea College is going to be built around them. Terrible creatures inhabit Linthea's forests, basilisks, dragons with petrifying powers, able to turn anything into stone. Hot. Let me take it off. What if I showed you a little bit of shoulder? Like just a tad bit. Too hot for MTV. That's why I'm not on MTV anymore.
Mr. Sheffield.
Don't I look like her a bit?
I'm your nanny, Mr. Sheffield.
Two willow trees are the source of life for the lush region of Lulea, north of Linthea, until the Great Realm Fire, which destroys one of the willows, leaving the other one damaged. Struck by grief, the black willow moves up a nearby mountain, and its tears form a stream, where water moves backwards and is able to reverse time. Bloomwood trolls terrorize the forest, until Pixies defeat them and imprison the creatures underneath the prison village. Prison industrial complex. Pixies are to blame. You find it here first. Pixies. Defund the Pixies. All Pixies are bastards. Evil sprites whose screech can break 100 glasses are trapped, just as me. I'm trapped in a body of a fabulous drag queen. And I'm actually an ugly troll. Hot, I'm doing pornography. Hot, oh, so hot, An elaborate cave system called the Pandemonium Caves. And every night, they try to escape. Later, Melody's fairy school, the Golden Auditorium, is built above the caves. The Forest of Flowers on Earth is haunted by a malevolent force of ectoplasm specters, who are banished by the powers of the Lenusia flowers.
The name game.
Lenusia. 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 Lena. First two letters I have the same. I dropped them both them same thing. I found so you're Delulu, bitch. The wishing star passes by Valtor and the warlock tries to capture it. But since their powers are incompatible, she fails miserably. The energy of Earth is in the fairies' hands until the wizards of the Black Circle appear. Immune to fairy magic, they hunt and rip their wings, becoming more powerful in the process. The people of Earth slowly start to forget about the magic's existence. Earth fairies live on an island of Turnan-Aw and use white circles as gates to travel outside their kingdom. Queendom? Why the fuck is it a kingdom? There ain't no king. There ain't no man in there. Nowhere in sight. Wizards create the black circle to combat the fairies and destroy white circles to trap the fairies inside their own kingdom one by one. The Dark Guardian is created by the Wizards of the Black Circle, who act as a guardian of Tirnan Og. The creature's job is to prevent anyone from finding the gates to the Fairies' realm by luring its victims with visions and dreams. Hello, Lost! You are fish food, because you stole from Lost. It is interesting how it's like a relic of the fan discourse at the time, and basically Winx preserved one of the most intriguing and popular theory of the time as a part of its plot. Winx arrived to Italy to rescue a quill cat who might be the animal with the first color of the universe. The locals seem to be afraid of magic, hanging wanted posters for the quill cat and arresting anyone suspected of practicing the craft. In their search, Musa stumbles upon a troupe of actors. The Winx join the group in hopes of the flute player, Orlando, bringing them to the magical animal, since his music attracts the cat. In exchange, they agree to portray fairies in a play. Musa and Orlando seem to bond on the topic of music and have warm feelings towards each other. Brifilius follows the girls to the village, sneaks into the audience, and makes the Winx levitate, creating a distraction for himself and a lot of troubles for his enemies. Orlando helps the girls escape the fury of the bigoted locals and brings the girls to the spot where he usually meets the quill cat. Brifilius attacks them, but Musa manages to overpower the wizard. The Winx finish the play, Orlando passes the animal on to Musa, and the two have a somber farewell. The children of Xena roam the earth, hypnotizing people into slavery and absorbing their powers, feasting on their energy, only being weakened by sunlight. Occulta, a pirate ship that has terrorized the Seven Seas for 100 years, sinks near the Calavera Islands in Mexico. Post-crash, the pirates are turned into zombies, and they continue their loyal servitude to the ship, moving their treasure into a nearby underwater cave. They also materialize on the island when the fog rolls in, scaring the locals. There are 4 sisters living in a mansion near Gardenia, and when someone tries to demolish the property, the youngest one dies, forever cursing the silent villa with a bloody presence. Young Fergonda rescues a digmole and establishes a magical bond with the animal. The Winx arrive at Alfea, where the curriculum is based on the Tome of Nature, and each fairy not only has a bonded animal, but also has to develop her skills beside it. Mavilla is still the headmistress, while Fergonda and Griselda are the students. During a fairy animal exhibition, Fergonda's clumsiness backfires, and her digmole creates a catastrophic chain of events. Multiple animals escape, and while the Winx are recovering some of them, they're almost stumped to the ground by the deer beetles, but are saved by young Kalshara in the last moment. Fergonda is reprimanded by Mavilla, who thanks the Winx and questions their origins. Roxy disapproves of Mavilla's teachings, and even though offended, she still lets the Winx stay at Alfea as visitors. The Winx accompany young Fergonda to the Wizgis Metamorphosymbiosis class, who scolds her for losing the digmole during the debacle at the exhibition. Kalshar incites Fergonda to borrow the Tome of Nature from Mavilla and manipulates the naive classmate into leaving the book with her. Stealing the map of the Hall of Fairy Animals, Kalshar absorbs the source of wild magic, which corrupts her, and the fairy becomes a shape-shifting, cat-like creature. Now with the wild magic gone from Alfea, all the animals run away, with Fergonda seen as responsible. In the Valley of Fruit, Kalshara corrupts her brother into a dog-like creature. Brifilius awakens the giant of the valley to collect all the digmoles. The Winx work smarter, not harder, so they free the animals to dig through the giant, destroying it from the inside. Fergonda transforms Kalshara into a small kitten when the latter tries to attack Mavilla, so Brifilius has to retract with his sister in hand. Nature then grants the Winx excluding Roxy, the power of butterflies. Mavilla realizes the errors of her ways and decides to release all fairy animals into the wild. She also for some reason thinks that erasing all of Alfea's residents' memories will prevent anyone from abusing fairy animals in the future. Ferganda finds a statue of a digmole. She picks the statue up and takes it with her. Just as Mavilla is about to cast the erasing memory spell, the Winx arrive with the fairy animals and ask for Ferganda's help to locate the golden butterfly. In Alfea's secret garden, the Winx teleport into the flower mini-world, but are interrupted by the Trix. During the fight, Bloom is knocked down from Alice, and she's seemingly falling to her death. Alice saves his fairy friend last minute, and they converge their powers to defeat the witches. The golden butterfly thanks them for protection and reverts the mini-world to its previous glory. The Trix escape with Brephilius at hand. On Melody, a young musician Hobo attends a concert of an up-and-coming singer, Meiling. Afterwards, he charms Meiling with a piece he has written specifically for her. They soon start touring together and later marry. A gifted professor of botany and floral magic, as well as a keeper of Alfea's greenhouse, Eldora decides to leave magics for Earth, abandoning her teaching position and sealing the garden from visitors. Eldora becomes the guardian of the Lost Library of Alexandria and visits it from time to time, while permanently residing in Gardenia's Forest of Flowers. Griffin, after being Valtor's partner and studying under the three ancestral witches to rule the world, has a change of heart and escapes to Alfea to join the other side. In order to protect the world from the ancestral witches, King Ortail and Queen Marian of Domino formed the Company of Light, which Ferganda, Saladin, Griffin, and Hagen joined. Ortail of Domino and Arendor, King of Heraklion, make an alliance, according to which the latter would protect Domino while its rulers are out fighting the forces of darkness. But the ancestral witches destroy the most prosperous city on Heraklion, Havram, to scare its king into betrayal. So, the witches and Arendor make a deal. He lets them destroy Domino, while they spare the rest of his kingdom, Havram's fate, by giving him an artifact containing the positive energy from the Tree of Life. It will protect Heraklion from the wave of negative energy that will eventually engulf the whole universe from Domino's destruction. Alfea, Daphne's nymph friend, abandons her in the time of need during a fight with ancestral witches in the infinite ocean. She is then cursed into being a monster that inhabits its waters. Three ancestral witches attack Domino, searching for its young princess, harvesting the powers of the dragon's flame. But Daphne the nymph, Bloom's older sister, saves her by teleporting the baby to Earth, where the witches would never be able to find her. After Bloom was safe and sound, Daphne tried to fight the ancestral witches, but lost. The witches cursed the power of Cyrenix, so when Daphne tried to protect herself, the spell backfired, turning the fairy into a ghostly spirit without a body. Ortail and Marian leave the castle after both of their daughters have disappeared. You have a whole freaking castle to yourself. Do an orgy. Do crafts, I don't know. You didn't see those children. They had nannies, bitch. The city of Gardenia, California, a young fireman rescues a baby protected by a magical barrier from a burning building, and he and his wife Vanessa decide to adopt it. Lord of the Templars deals with Lord Darkar. He casts him back into the darkness and sends him into a deep slumber. Ortail and Miriam attack Valtor after losing both of their daughters. Using all of their powers, they send Valtor into the Omega Dimension to be imprisoned. On Andros, three powerful magicians, headed by Tebok the Wise, seal the portal gate to Omega, trying to make it escape-proof. During the final battle, the ancestral witches drag Ortail into obsidian with them and Miriam transports herself into a sword to be with him. Citizens of Domino follow the monarch's fate, and they are all stuck, cast in stone, in the realm of obsidian. It's so unfathomable to imagine a magic world without monarchy in the first place, but then even when monarchy exists, it's like, if the king dies, everyone dies! What a magical world. What a fantasy to live in. During one of his visits to the lost city of Heaven, Arendor breaks the artifact, only for the pollen of the Tree of Life to create a new magical plant. Musa is born despite her parents' financial instability. Morgana, the queen of earth fairies, decides to live among common folk to find herself. She falls in love with a man named Klaus and gives birth to their daughter Roxy. Maitland falls ill, and because of their poor finances, quickly passes, with Hobo swearing to abandon music. Morgana is the last one captured by the wizards. This event erases all memories of her from non-magical people. Hello, it is time for my presentation. My TED Talk, if you will. Nameology, or how to read people based on their names in the Winx Club franchise. Why should you never marry a person called Hobo? And why should you never marry a person called Morgana? Cause Mr. Brokey right here, Mr. Hobo, whose name literally sounds like, I will never have money, I am poor. Because you married a man called Hobo. You will die of illness, of unknown illness. And Morgana, her name literally spells all of it more like Ghana. Morgana, she's gone, Mr. Klaus. So who did you marry? Who the fuck did you marry? She was Morgana, Morgan, and now you're single dad. And now you have no memories of her. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk about, I'm still working on the name of the science of nameology, and why, based on the name, at least in the Winx Club, you can definitely tell the fate of your romantic relationship. Thank you very much. The wizards stay unaware that there is still one last white circle left on Earth. Young Bloom and her friend Selena are out playing in park one day and are noticed by Eldora for their magical essence. Eldora decides to become a fairy godmother to Selena, since the girl needs some guidance on her journey. Aisha makes a friend, Anne, who teaches her to be free anywhere through the power of dance. After Anne is forced to leave, a fear of being alone persists in Aisha. Sky and his cousin Thorin study together, and while out in the forest looking for animal tracks, they are ambushed by a group of bandits. Thorin runs away in terror, leaving Sky to fend for himself, with the Prince of Heraklion barely making it out alive. Sky then resents his cousin for years to come. Diamond's two princess sisters, Icy and Sapphire, play together when a shaman witch interrupts their fun and starts freezing the planet. The witch inquires about the location of Diamond's palace, but the younger feisty sister confronts her, prompting the witch to transform the girl into a white fox. Icy then reveals the place of her home, letting the witch conquer her home planet. The remaining Diamond princess swears to become the world's most powerful witch and return to reverse her sister's curse. Herakleon's bandit Yoshimoya is after the throne and targets Sky from an early age, so he and his squire Brandon switch places. After many years of friendship, Selena distances herself from Bloom, and the two grow apart. Selena continues her studies with Eldora and quickly exceeds expectations. During their visit to the Lost Library of Alexandria, Eldora and Selena learn about the powers of the legendarium, so the fairy godmother decides to search for a way to permanently seal the book. Meanwhile, the evil sorcerer, who created the legendarium only to be trapped within its pages, Acheron, lures Selena to the dark side. He promises her ultimate powers for freeing him and makes her the Witch of Snakes. During a full moon, Selena swears loyalty to Acheron and steals the legendarium from Eldora's home. Stella, a young princess of Solaria, destroys a class of potion making at Alfea, for which she's held back by a year. Bloom discovers that she's a fairy during an encounter with Stella. Not a troll and a gang of monsters attack Stella, Bloom, and her parents. After Stella's call, the specialists come to rescue, capture the troll, but not escapes. Bloom decides to start her education at the Alfea Fairy School and says goodbye to her parents. Bloom lies to Griselda about her origins, as well as to her new friends, Musa, Tecna, and Flora. While celebrating the start of the school year in Magix, Bloom wanders off and becomes privy to the details of the plan of the Trix, Icy, Darcy, and Stormy. Bloom's new friends rescue her, and the girls escape the witches using Stella's teleportation powers. Everyone finds out Bloom's true identity, prompting Griselda and Faragonda to wonder, how can Bloom come from Earth when fairies there have been considered extinct for a while now? Bloom suggests creating a name for the friend group, and after a vote, the name Winx Club is chosen. Stella reveals that her parents are divorced. It's time for the annual ball at Alfea, where the specialists are invited, which also provides Griffin with a chance to organize a competition of sabotage for the witches of Cloud Tower. The Trix put a spell on the gifts brought by the specialists and lurk in the bushes to see the results of their prank, as well as enchanting Stella's ring in order to steal it. The Wings break the dark spell just in time for the gift ceremony, which angers the witches, and Flora puts a spell on the box holding Stella's ring. Bloom follows the said ring box that is able to fly all of a sudden, which prompts a battle between her and the Trix, with the rest of the girls unable to help her. Bloom transforms into her fairy form for the first time, but is unable to properly fight the witches yet. Bloom has her first dance with Brandon. Back at Cloud Tower, the Trix open up the box, hoping to find Stella's ring, but instead receive a pet. Palladium's class takes place at the Black Mud Swamp, and the students are tasked with finding their way back using only the voice of nature as their guide. Riven, Brandon, Timmy, and Sky are tasked with transporting the troll they caught on Earth to Magix, and the Trix see him as a liability. So the witches hatch up a plan in order to get rid of the creature. The specialist's aircraft is hit above Black Mud Swamp, and the troll escapes, making the fairies and the boys work together to find him. The Trix dispose of the troll, with the girls almost catching up to them. Although arriving last, the Wings successfully complete Palladium's assignment. While the other girls were working in the kitchen with the various degree of success, Stella has been preparing for the date she's been invited to by Prince Sky in Magix. After choosing an outfit, she leaves her ring of Solaria with Bloom for safekeeping. Stella returns from the date changed. She wrecks the dormitory in search of her ring, confronts Bloom, and leaves as a cloud through the window after not getting what she wanted. The girls decide to investigate. However, upon questioning Sky, it is revealed that he has never contacted Stella. So, the Wings investigate the place where Stella should have been seen last. After quite an extensive search, the girls arrive at their destination and realize it's a trap set up by the witches to get the ring of Solaria. The Trix bargain for Stella's release by giving up the ring, and Bloom decides not to put her friend's life at risk and agrees, saving Stella but rendering her powerless. The Trix try to extort the power of the dragon flame from the ring of Solaria, but ultimately fail, rendering the ring and the past attempts at stealing it useless. The Wings decide to go to Cloud Tower through the underground tunnels connecting the school, schools to return Stella's ring. The fairies retrieve it, and while wandering the corridors, stumble upon a magical archive. Bloom's curiosity about the nature of her powers prompts her to open a book with her name on it, warning Headmistress Griffin about intruders. The Winx fight monsters created by Griffin, but Stella's spell backfires and a fire erupts. Bloom hears a woman's voice that shows her an exit, so she and the girls escape death last second. Upon returning to Alfea, Faragonda and Griselda have already been warned about the Winx trespassing, so as a punishment, their powers get taken away. Additionally, the fairies are forced to clean up the whole school by Griselda, and while everyone leaves Alfea for a concert in Magix, girls decide to invite specialists to help with the cleanup and party later on in the evening. Under the guide of their mission to find the source of the dragon's flame, the Trix raid Alfea with their vacuums to lead the search. Startled by the party, they summon a monster to distract the Winx and the specialists from their mission. Girls successfully defeat the monster without magic and team up with the specialists to catch the witches in Headmistress Faragonda's office. As both sides of the conflict arrive, Miss Faragonda returns to Alfea, startling everyone. Headmistress praises the girls for their courage and competence and gives them their powers back. Bloom starts seeing the ghost-like creature from Cloud Tower in her dreams, who calls for her. A celebration of the Day of the Rose is abound in Magix, so everyone gets a day off. Musa reveals that her mother has passed away when she was young. Griffin scolds the Trix for the mess they have caused at Alfea, and though she should expel them, she instead gives the trio the task of breaking the ever-growing bond between the students of the two other magic schools. Stella and Bloom join Sky, Brandon and Riven for the festival in Magix, while Musa stays behind. Bloom fights with Riven, and the Trix use the argument to their advantage. Not disguised as Timmy gives Bloom a helmet meant for Riven, which is supposed to have a critical failure during the race, potentially greatly injuring Riven. Bloom realizes the evil plan, though too late, and she tries to prevent the worst from happening. Meanwhile, Darcy, who seemingly has some kind of feelings for Riven, also participates in the race, saving the angsty specialist and creating a public fight between the guys within the group. Woohoo! Trix, you've done it again. Season 2 onwards, mostly, would be very proud of you. This is like, what, 3rd mission in 8 episodes that has been successful? Bravo, bravissima! Bloom's dreams keep disturbing Flora and the other girls, so she wanders off to the library to learn more about the woman she sees at night, nymph Daphne. Her inquiry provokes the library's search system to go nuts, so Faragonda orders the librarian Ms. Barbatea to close it indefinitely. In Musa's room, Stella keeps tormenting the girls, provoking Musa to storm off and board a bus to Magix, where she sees Riven hanging out with the witches. The Trix confront Musa, who slaps Icy. The witches start attacking the fairy to teach her a lesson, and Riven refuses to help her. The specialists pick up the girls at Alfea, and together they join fight in Magix to protect Musa. When all seems lost, Bloom lets out this powerful blast of energy, which sends the witches running and also gives Icy an idea about the source of the dragon's flame. The girls have to take an exam at Professor Palladium's class in simulation room. And thanks to Riven's spying, Icy decides to use the opportunity as a test for her theory about Bloom's power. Darcy hijacks the simulator to disrupt Bloom's test to get Bloom to the edge of her abilities. In the process of battling the witches, Bloom thinks Kiko has died after falling into burning lava, and her emotional outburst breaks the simulator room. The exams are put on hold indefinitely, and Kiko is out to be safe. In preparation for her exams, Flora pisses Stella and Tecna off, so she decides there's no place for her experiments in Alfea, and moves out to the Black Mud Swamp for the time being. Bloom shames the other girls for being not supportive enough, and they follow Flora. In Flora's quest to find the cheerful gladiolus flowers, the Winx stumble upon the residents of the water nymphs, who are forced to live next to a dangerous monster to provide themselves with a life important material. The Winx decide to ensure the water nymph's safety by attacking the monster, which turns out to be a giant sleepwalking turtle. An evil red willow tree growing on its shell is to blame, so the girls eradicate it. Flora's potion creates an infinite amount of material for the nymphs, and with the gladiolus, she aces the exams. Bloom goes on a date with Brandon in Magix, where they discuss her dreams about Daphne, and he promises to assist her with solving the mystery, even involving Timmy in it. Palladium asks the other girls to remind missing Stella that she has a lot of missing assignments and she should be ready to take the test next time. Instead, they find Stella preparing for the annual pageant Miss Magix, and she begs the girls to support her in exchange for getting her act straight at school. Trix undertake on a plan of transforming a witch named Lucy into a beauty queen to ensure she wins the pageant, just to humiliate her at the last moment by revealing her true appearance. Witches sabotage all of the other contestants, except Stella and Lucy. The pranks goes according to the plan, and by revealing her usage of magic, Lucy is not only humiliated, but also disqualified, making Stella the rightful winner. Keeping her word, Stella takes the test after pulling an all-nighter, but ultimately fails the exam. It's vacation time in Alfea, so Bloom travels back home for a week where she helps her mom around the flower shop. Bloom discovers new power of seeing people's auras, which helps her to unmask the frauds who were trying to scam Vanessa out of her flower shop. The two fraud businessmen are threatening Vanessa. One night, their driver sets the store on fire, but Bloom senses danger and comes to the rescue of both the driver and the flower shop with Mike before the firefighters arrive. Vanessa decides to take the two frauds to court, and their driver is ready to testify against them. Meanwhile, Bloom learns the truth about her being an adopted child. The Trix and the other witches at Cloud Tower bully Lucy and her best friend Murda, gay best friend. They were literally roommates.
And they were roommates.
Oh my god, they were roommates.
After the Miss Magic fiasco. Though Lucy also belittles Murda and proclaims her admiration for the three witches, who she'd rather be friends with. So Murda swears revenge. Bloom passes Miss Faragonda's test with flying colors and heads down to Magix to see Brandon, who tries to uplift her spirits about all the questions surrounding her identity by hatching up a plan with Timmy to access the Cloud Tower archives. Ribbon overhears Brandon's plan and spills the details to the Trix, who want to use it as a chance to steal the power of the Dragon's Flame. In the archive, Bloom learns the vision of her past, misconstrued by the Trix, and now believes that she's a creation of the three ancestral witches, doomed to destroy the magical dimension, which deeply disturbs both her and Brandon, so she swears to leave Magix for good. Next morning, Bloom is missing at Alfea, so the Winx lead a search mission, not knowing that both Murda and the Trix are also looking for their friend. Murda finds Bloom first on her way to Magix and tells her about the witch's evil plan. Murda is quickly followed by Trix, who attack the two, and afterwards the Winx arrive to the rescue. The confrontation between the two groups results in Icy transforming Murda into a pumpkin and a huge explosion caused by Bloom, which sends the witches flying back to where they came from. The Winx bring enchanted Murda back to Alfea, and Flora swears to break the spell. Bloom starts sleeping during lessons due to the frequency of night visions from Daphne, which provokes Griselda to call her into the principal's office. Flora tries to break the spell put on Murda by Icy to no avail. Professor Wizgis introduces a surprise test the next day, which deeply infuriates and stresses out the young students. So later in the day, he drops an envelope in front of Bloom that seems to contain the answers. She brings it in front of the other Winx, provoking the discussion about the benefits and disadvantages of cheating. And the girls decide to give it back, The next day, Faragonda brings Bloom in her office to show her a vision of her past, in which she travels underneath the Lake Rocaluci to see Daphne, holding a crown, which still seems to be a lacking answer to her question. The next day, Whiskers reveals that the whole point of the exam was to test the students' honor, part of which was receiving an envelope, opening which triggered an explosion, and only a handful of students passed. It is the teacher's parent meeting time in Alfea, and the Trix send a monster that harvests on nightmares and drains the victim's energy to the Winx dormitory. The monster first drains Stella, then Tacna and Musa, but slips away with the first rays of sunshine. In the morning, Myrta advises the girls to ambush the creature when the sun sets again. The Winx fight the monster the next night, and the Trix turn up to help it finish off Bloom. At last, the whole school wakes up and Faragonda protects the students from the witch's attack. Back at Cloud Tower, Griffin is furious with the Trix and decides to expel them. Bloom is disappointed that Brandon hasn't spoken to her since the mission to Cloud Tower, so she decides to come to the Red Fountain's exhibition and talk to him face to face. So the Winx sneak into the Red Fountain, and while the other girls are watching the ceremony, Bloom bumps into Princess Diaspro, who is holding a picture of Brandon and calls him her fiancé. Bloom is convinced that she is a masked witch trying to break them apart as usual, so she attacks Diaspro. Riven and Brandon pit their dragons in the arena, while Bloom and Diaspora burst through the floor in the middle of a fight. When Diaspora falls down, Brandon comes to her rescue, and that's where the truth is revealed. Brandon is actually Prince Sky, who is engaged to Diaspora, and his squire was actually covering for him this whole time. Bloom informs the girls that due to the latest events, she has decided to quit her studying at Alfea and return home. She teleports back to Earth, which Stormy witnesses and reports back to her sisters. The Trix come to Gardenia and use Bloom's parents as bait, exhausting her with an extremely emotional fight in which Mike and Vanessa almost die. They rip the powers of the dragon flame out of her chest and reveal her true identity as the lost princess of Domino. The Winx are called into the headmistress's office and are scolded for not only letting Bloom go, but also not informing Faragonda and Griselda. Stella decides to go to Gardenia and comforts her friend, and promises to get back at witches as they return to Magix. Upon Bloom's return to Alfea, she is immediately brought to the headmistress' office. Bloom tells Faragonda about the witch's plan, and the headmistress reveals her prior knowledge of Bloom's past. The Trix seize control over Cloud Tower, locking Headmistress Griffin, the staff, and all of the students in the dungeon, and summoning the army of darkness to their command. After meeting with Faragonda, Saladin proclaims alert at Red Fountain. Meanwhile, Riven visits the witches and learns of their true nature. The skies turn black in Magix, and it starts raining with maggots that quickly turn into giant monsters and attack both Alfea and Red Fountain. Prince Diaspora visits Red Fountain to rescue Prince Sky, but he harshly rejects her and proclaims that his real place is in the battlefield. That's a real man. A single Sky who works to job, who tries to buy Blue some stuff. He's a real guy of the Magix, Prince Sky. Nut and Pepe are disturbed by the Trix, so they escape Cloud Tower and seek refuge at Red Fountain. So let's imagine that the Winx is like a Bob army who would be fighting, potentially, in the world where Bob. Let's see who of the Winx cast would be on a Bob army. So Vanessa, Myrna, Griselda has a Bob. Griselda has a Bob. Is there anyone else? I mean, Sky. Do we need our diversity hire? Take a white, blonde, blue-haired man. I guess there are only 4 people on the Winx Club who have a Bob. So that is my team.
Body girls with the lips to pop. Gen Z researched up, thumbs up, how can I make you hot? Now, we want a mouth full of cock, upside down with a mouth full of cock. Bring that ass with a mouth full of cock, get down with a mouth full of cock.
happy with that. That's my squad. I mean, I don't have a bob now, but I have a bob on the shelf. It's a wonderful synthetic bob that I've cut myself. Fergonda sends the wings to Domino in order for Bloom to reconnect with her past and perhaps find the spark of a dragon's flame. During the battle at Red Fountain, Icy casts a powerful spell which transforms the school into a block of ice, and it quickly starts to fall apart, which forces the specialists to abandon it for Alfea. On Domino, the Trix sent a giant snow monster to keep the wings busy, which splits the group and prompts Bloom to get swallowed by Earth. Presumably dead or injured, Bloom's fall was softened by a snow crevice, so she walks from the fall unharmed and finds herself in the corridors of Domino's castle. Above ground, the rest of the girls find the castle towers, and Stella, with the help of Tecna, manages to melt the ice and reach the entrance. After the girls reunite, they wander around the castle until greeted by Daphne, who leads them into the treasury and tells her POV of what happened to Bloom. The girls are attacked by a monster again, this time with a whole army at its command. The Wings fight alongside the freshly arrived specialists, converging their powers to get rid of the creatures once and for all. Sky and Bloom reconcile after the Diaspora fiasco, with Sky apologizing for lying and saying that he never cared for his arranged marriage. Riven reconsiders his past in prison and promises to become a better person. Liar. He escapes captivity, but is quickly found by one of the ghouls, and after a chase, is left with no other option than jumping out of the window. Upon returning to Alfea, Bloom is already hatching up a plan of going to Cloud Tower to retrieve the Dragon's Flame, needing Stella, Brandon, Sky, and Nut to join the mission, with the rest of the gang staying behind to protect the school. Moving through the tunnel system, the gang arrives at the Cloud Tower's garbage dump site and are attacked by beetle roaches. Riven, who has survived his fall and has been living here for quite some time, comes to their rescue and apologizes for his prior behavior. Timmy and Tecna have become quite a duo, working together on a tactical analysis of the fights, and she starts developing feelings and getting in touch with her emotional side. Back at Cloud Tower, the gang splits up. Brandon and Riven go to free Headmistress Griffin and the rest of the students, while the others look for the Dragon Flame. Bloom, Stella, Sky, and Nut are confronted by the Trix, with the witches promising to make Cloud Tower their grave. Griffin attacks the trio and lets the others escape, while the Trix are being held back by a powerful spell. Griffin opens up a portal to Alfea, but Bloom and Sky stay behind to act as a diversion. They use a hover bike created by the headmistress, but crash after being struck by lightning on their way to Alfea. As everyone returns to Alfea, night falls upon Magix, and the Trix send another horde of monsters to Alfea. Meanwhile, Bloom and Sky are hiking through the forest and decide to settle down for the night. Everyone unites their powers for the next attack and defeats the creatures, which angers the witches and provokes them to create the biggest army yet, as well as lead it to destroy Alfea with their own hands. Bloom hears the voice of Daphne again, so she heads to Lake Rocaluce, while Sky goes to Magic City, which is destroyed and completely abandoned. Bloom visits the cave where Daphne resides, and the nymph reminds her sister about her past and reassures her about the present, which inspires the fairy greatly, and she finds powers within herself. Flora is finally able to break the spell put on Myrta. Lesbian content! Woo! Musa tries to talk to Riven to mend their relationships, but he is too anxious. The witches are marching towards Alfea with an army of unprecedented size, which the water nymphs alert Fergonda about. Sky is attacked by monsters in Magic City, but Bloom saves him and they head to Alfea. While the combined forces of Alfea, Red Fountain, and Cloud Tower are fighting the monsters, the Winx are battling the Trix. Flora, Tecna, Musa, and Stella defeat Darcy and Stormy. Meanwhile, Bloom wins in a fight against Icy. The Army of Darkness disappears as the witches are defeated, and everything returns back to normal. The Trix are sent to Light Rock for rehabilitation. The witches return to Cloud Tower. However, Not asks for permission to stay at Alfea. Murda decides to transfer here as well, and says goodbye to Lucy. Lesbians! Yes! Lesbians! Woohoo! Everyone celebrates the victory at Alfea, and Ferganda announces that she will rename the concept of a modern fairy to Winx. Stella and Brandon announce their relationship. Kai and Bloom hold hands for the first time.
Several days later.
Hello. Oh god. This wig. I hope I look kind of like Morticia. Like the eyes are glowing. Right? Deflecting from my beard. Okay, I gotta suffer for one season only. And then I'm joining the Bob army, I promise. I did bring the gloves. My Stella gloves. This is my Stella look, by the way. I do have the gloves, but they are a torture machine. Literally. They're just stiff as a board. Every time I wear them, I get spots over here. Like literal bruises. And it looks like I do heroin. Whatever drugs you put in your veins. I look like I do those. So I'm not gonna torture myself anymore. Yeah, this is my Stella look. Go on Instagram. Seriously, check it out. It's quite fun. It's quite cool. I think it is a great work of sewing and design. Lord Darkar wakes up from his slumber, seeking revenge and ultimate power. During a nature ceremony in the gloomy wood forest, the Pixies are kidnapped by the shadow monsters, with only Blinky and Lockhead returning to the Pixie village to break the news to their guest Aisha, who follows the trail of Tar into an underground castle. The Winx second school year at Alfea begins with an opening ceremony for its restored East Tower, previously destroyed in a fight against the Trix. Aisha travels into Darkar's fortress to rescue her friends from the Shadow Phoenix, who attacks the fairy, kidnaps the Pixies once again, and drops her off a cliff, seemingly to her death. Bloom follows a flying animal around Alfea and finds the magical archive, where she meets a pixie, Concorda, who explains the concept of a magical bond between a fairy and a pixie. Lord Darkar interrogates the pixies about the location of their village in hopes of finding the codex there. Aisha stumbles out of the forest and falls right at the steps of Alfea, where the Winx find her unconscious. The Winx learn about a new danger from Aisha's story about her encounter with the Shadow Phoenix. Lord Darkar learns that the codex consists of 4 parts. So he goes into the Light Rock, where the Trix are imprisoned, to fetch himself some minions. Phoenix gives the witches a power-up, Gloomix, with which Icy, Darcy, and Stormy destroy their prison and swear allegiance with the shadow creature. Ferganda organizes a rescue mission to save the Pixies, in which Aisha will act as a guide, with Bloom, Stella, Brandon, and Sky accompanying her, while the rest of the Winx Club will stay at Alfea. As the team arrives near the underground castle, they work together to defeat the monsters and enter the caves, only to realize that the place drains magic and the girls are unable to stay in their fairy form for too long. Brandon separates himself from the group, and while protecting himself from a monster, falls off a ledge, which shocks Stella, following after him to their presumable ultimate demise. Stella and Brandon fall into an underground river, which carries them out to the shore, where they are found by the residents of the Downlands Kingdom. Stella's health quickly deteriorates, being far away from the sun. Brandon's looks destroy his chance at ever seeing home, since Princess Amantia instantly falls in love with him, forcing Brandon to marry her to ensure Stella's survival. God, that wig is unholy. How can a non-living thing be so annoying? And it clearly was never alive, because this is synthetic, mama. It was never alive. My vanity. God, I deserve to be in hell. You know what? My personal hell would be, like, recording videos for hours in drag for no one to see it. That would be my personal hell. So That's why I think you should like and subscribe. And go follow my Instagram as well. Regaining her powers post-escape from Downland, Stella protects her friends from the monsters, reuniting with the core team. At the castle's entrance, the gang is ambushed by the Trix, who defeat them very easily, and when all hope seems lost, a mysterious paladin quickly deals with the witches and vanishes. Pixies are mysteriously freed from their cage. Amore bonds with Stella, while Loquette establishes a deep connection with Bloom. The team reaches Downlands, where they are almost immediately caught by the guards. Amore meets Sponsors, who is deeply in love with Princess Amentia, and the pixie mixes in her flower with the one in Princess Amentia bouquet. Upon smelling the flowers, Amentia forgets all about Brandon, marrying Sponsors instead, rendering the specialist useless and granting him his freedom. As the team returns to Alfea, new fairy pixie bonds are established. Flora meets Chata, Techna connects with Digit, and Musa with Toon. At Fergonda's office, the headmistress explains some information on their new enemy. However, girls notice that she is keeping some of her intel. Since they are being watched by the shadow creatures, the Pixies are mandated to stay at Alfea and under no circumstances try to get back to their village. Aisha is also invited to join the Alfea College for Fairies by Fergonda, which she happily accepts. A rainstorm is approaching Alfea, and the Winx are asked to join Fergonda at the lake, where a giant rock appeared, which is alarming since it resists magic. The girls are tasked with destroying the mysterious rock. However, none of them succeed despite the numerous attempts. And moreover, they are watched by a mysterious hooded figure.
Body tea, coochie good, mwah.
In the magical archive, Fergonda secretly meets up with the Guardian Pixies, who are tasked not only with protecting the 4 parts of the codex, but are also given duplicates in case the originals get stolen. The next day, Fergonda introduces the students to their new professor, Avalon, whom Stella, Aisha, and Bloom have already met as Paladin. The headmistress explains his position as the new professor of magic philosophy. He demonstrates his knowledge by destroying the rock with a specific incantation. To celebrate Avalon's arrival at Alfea, a party is held, which Sky crashes due to multiple unanswered calls from Bloom. He hides in the trees with Brandon, but fails to see anything due to the beaver's intrusion. Red Fountain has been rebuilt since the Trix destruction, and an opening ceremony is held, which the students of Alfea and Cloud Tower attend, and the Trix crash in order to find a piece of the codex for their master. Bloom upsets Sky by ignoring him and seemingly only having Professor Avalon on her mind. Flora meets Helia, who is a specialist, and Saladin's nephew. And also my favorite fucking man in the earth. He's so hot. He's the mother I never had. He's the sister that I've always wanted.
I don't know a better person.
Hot as fuck. Healy, I love you. You don't need that flower, bitch. They seem to have a similar point of view. During the ceremony, a newly rebuilt red fountain rises from the ground, levitating, modern, and completely unrecognizable from the castle that stood there prior. Darkar sends Grackthroat to Red Fountain as a distraction, who the Winx and the Specialist defeat using teamwork. The Trix are unable to steal the codex due to the room being highly guarded. While Professor Avalon continues to charm everyone, Techna becomes suspicious of his motives. She finds a book in Alfea's library that describes an anthropomorphic winged monster who brings destruction everywhere it goes when the 3 planets line up. Avalon helps Bloom with recovering childhood memories of her blood family. Second-year students start their invocation class, which is conducted by Palladium, who has completely changed his appearance to the girls' surprise. Now he's hot! Yay! Now I can sim for Paladin. Winx Club Season 2 adds 2 new hot male characters. That is why that is the best season. That is why everybody loves it. Because there are 2 male characters. new and hot and steamy and gay. That's why Ingenious Straffy and the writers of the reboot thought, let's add Damien, cause that's what everybody loves. Hot, gay, emo boys. No, Ingenio. We love the Winx, we love the girls, we love the girl power. And some of us want to fuck animated characters, but not all. Just me. Tecna contacts Headmistress Griffin to analyze the positions of the 3 planets, and she informs the fairies that the cursed planets will align that night at 11:59.
It's 11:59, and I want to stay alive.
The Winx, except for Bloom, proceed to attack the professor as he comes out of the shower. Steamy. Steamy. I hate his tail, his rat tail. I would never stand a man with a mullet and with a rat tail. I would never.
Yes, you're what's wrong, Magic Winx.
A chase around Alfea ensues, with Tecna blasting off the professor through a window. The girls start their self-defense class, which is taught by Griselda, and she surprises the students with her skills. Of course she does. She's in the Bob army. Bloom and Sky are fighting because of Avalon. Flora and Tecna follow Bloom to Red Fountain to talk to Sky, but the Trix attack the school, so the girls rush to help the specialists. With any help being stuck in elevators hijacked by Stormy, Sky, Timmy, Bloom, Tecna, and Flora follow the witches to the room, storing the codex. And knocking out everyone one by one, the Trix get the piece. The one-piece bathing suit. Off the rack. $30. They get it! Yes! Shadow Phoenix is gonna look hot for the sunny, hot season. Timmy decides against attacking the witches since he's alone and would be quickly overpowered, which deeply disappoints Tecna. Lifeless Sky is laying on the floor, but Bloom uses her healing power of the dragon flame. The couple makes up. After daydreaming about him in class, Flora, unsure of Helia's feelings, asks Aisha to spy on him. So the latter sneaks into his room at night and finds a poem, evidently proving his admiration for Flora. While the Pixies are busy playing the bamboozle ball, the magic spheres created by the hooded figure,
My face is the front of shop,
hit them, enchanting with the spell of homesickness. So they decide to go back to the Pixie village. But the Winx quickly capture them. Freed by the same hooded figure, the Pixies escape once again, with a bunch of Darkar's ghouls to distract the fairies. But they reach their friends just in time for Bloom to use a healing spell on them. Flora surprises Helia with flowers left on his window pane as she quickly flies away, giggling. Farragonda teaches a class on convergence and gives the girls a pair assignment. Aisha feels left out of the group, but Musa comforts her and suggests they stick together. A specialist named Jared visits Alfea to write a report about the simulation room. He asks Musa to be his interviewee, during which he brings her flowers and invites her on a date. But she politely rejects him and suggests staying friends. The next day, Farragonda checks the girls' assignments, which they mostly fail, and she explains that their convergence abilities are going to be tested in the simulation room tomorrow. Stella accidentally excludes Aisha, so she feels disappointed. But Musa cheers her up, and Bloom proposes to have a sleepover as a bonding activity. Darcy enchants Jared to break the simulation room, and the Winx are tasked with cleverly combining their powers in order to escape from the glitched out virtual reality, which they do successfully. Girls feel incredibly stressed out, so when Bloom suggests skipping school and going to Gardenia, Stella, Aisha, and Musa follow her. Tecna feels disappointed on her date with Timmy, and Flora is too unsure of herself to deliver a love letter to Helia. While on Earth, Bloom goes to support Vanessa, who is testifying in court. Stella enjoys a solo shopping spree, and Musa and Aisha sneak into a club, where a group of youths notice their magic powers and attack them. The girls are rescued by Farragonda and Griselda, and are punished with cleaning duty once again. Bloom and Flora join Sky and Brandon on their trip to Heraklion, where the gang is tasked with the mission of rescuing Princess Diasporo from the captivity of Yoshimoya and successfully freed the kingdom from Pageant. Musa learns the rain dance from Aisha and then uses it to overpower Stormy, who has been spying at Alfea. Musa headlines a concert at Red Fountain, and Ferganda invites her dead hobo, who passionately disapproves of her dreams of becoming a musician, as well as Riven as her potential partner, even threatening with transferring her from Alfea if she doesn't obey. Musa's performance moves everybody to tears, with even her father realizing his mistakes. But he is quickly seized by Stormy, who swore revenge on Musa after their last encounter. The fairy makes the audience sing, and with Riven's encouragement, she fosters enough energy to get rid of the witch once again. Hobo apologizes for misjudging Riven's character, they reconcile with Musa, and visit Maylin's grave together. The Winx are thrilled to go to a Halloween party that Bloom's ex-classmate is throwing at a spooky mansion in Gardenia, where Mitzi involves all of her friends to scare the girls. But their prank fails. The Winx and Murda are sent to Cloud Tower by Ferganda to help the witches protect their part of the codex. So while the girls attend classes there and Murda reconnects with Lucy, the Trix search the halls of the school to find the location of the codex. The Winx are constantly bickering, so in the most important moment, their convergence spell backfires, which gives the Trix a chance to escape with the second part of the codex. In a moment of weakness, Bloom reveals to Avalon that she knows the location of Alfea's codex. So, Darkar invades her psyche, transforming the fairy into Dark Bloom. Despite the girl's attempts at stopping her, the evil Bloom succeeds in delivering the third part of the codex to the Shadow Phoenix. Ferganda decides to give the girls a chance to relax, so they join the specialists on a trip to Wildlands, where magic is very weak. During their stay at the ski resort, Bloom leads everyone to safety from a broken ski lift, earning her Charmix power-up. While out in the forest with Palladium, Avalon gets poisoned by a flower, so the professor sends Livy to the Pixie village for an antidote. Unbeknownst to them, Icy follows her. And after a long chase and some help from Princess Amentia, the witch snatches the last part of the codex, while Palladium saves Avalon himself. Darkar, still unable to open the portal to the ultimate power of Relix, despite having all parts of the codex, realizes that he needs the power of the dragon's flame as a boost. So he sends the Trix on a mission to the Wildlands, where the witches enchant the animals to attack the Winx and the specialists. Two more fairies earn their Charmix power-up. Musa, by learning to trust Riven, and Stella, by reconciling her differences with Aisha. As the group seems trapped, Timmy creates a plan to trap the bewitched animals. And despite Tekna's lack of confidence in him, the plan not only works, but Helia also comes to their rescue. So, Tekna finally lets go of her grudge towards Timmy, earning her Charmix. Aisha is left behind, so she has to come face to face with her fear of being alone, which she earns her Charmix for, and reunites with the gang just in time. The Pixies return to their village sick after catching some virus in the Wildlands. But they can be healed by the Tree of Life because it's weakened by Ice's attack. Flora is tasked with healing both. With support from Helia, she first helps the Pixies, and then with some reassurance from Chara, proclaims her feelings for Helia, earning her Charmix power-up. The real Professor Avalon escapes from Darkar's captivity and stumbles to Alfea in a weakened state, revealing to Ferganda and the rest of the girls the extent of his influence on the events of the school year. And while they rush to help Bloom, the doppelganger escapes with her to Darkar's castle. The Winx and the specialists are on their way to save Bloom, so Brandon, Sky, and Aisha travel to Downlands to ask Princess Amentia for a favor. to use her giant worm and dig a hole big enough for the ships to fly through to the Darkar's palace. While Darkar corrupts Bloom to become Dark Bloom, he sends the Trix to destroy the rest of the gang. Timmy proclaims his romantic feelings for Tekna, and they share their first kiss. In preparation for the final battle, the Trix are tasked with giving the monster army all of their powers. And feeling betrayed by Darkar, they confront him, only to be sent to the Void after doing his bidding all year long. The team splits up to deal with the army of monsters, as well as follow Darkar, and during their farewell, Helia and Flora kiss, Musa and Riven embrace. The girls run into the most powerful version of Keberg, but the three professors come to rescue, and Codetorta, with the help of Griffin and Fergonda, defeats the creature. The Guardian Pixies open the portal to Relix with their copies of the codex, only to be stopped by a riddle, which is quickly solved by Stella with her knowledge of the color theory. The whole team reunites, but their attacks are powerless against Bloom and Darkar. During the fight, Riven is fatally injured, and Musa kisses him. To everyone's surprise, the Trix turn up, combined into a single entity, and challenge the Shadow Phoenix. However, only Sky's proclamation of true love is strong enough to break through the darkness. And the real Bloom starts healing not only herself, but also all of her allies, ultimately rendering Darkar powerless. With the Winx converging their powers, he is finally defeated. It's time for the annual end-of-year party at Alfea, with the specialists, witches, pixies, as well as the citizens of the Downlands in presence.
The following Thursday.
Hello. Hi. I finally got my bob out. My heart front bob. Look at my, oh, don't look at my puss. My beautiful thighs. They rub together and harmonize. All of the girls prepare for their spring break, but their plans are interrupted by the announcements of Stella's Princess Ball. While the girls are out in Magix for a shopping spree, Musa changes her haircut. Stella meets Chimera, unaware of their future family connection. The Trix are sent to the Omega Dimension, but Icy destroys their cages and also frees another criminal, Valtor, who opens up a portal to Andros, imprinting his mark on the local population of mermaids, making them monstrous, and this kingdom his temporary hideout spot. The Winx and the specialists meet up on the beach in Magix, but their picnic is interrupted by a giant wave, endangering the lives of civilians. It turns out to be caused by Valtor's intrusion on Andros. Alerted to this by a mermaid, Aisha travels to her homeworld to help. Stella brings Bloom to Solaria to help her with the preparations for the Princess Ball, and Valtor travels to the kingdom to steal the power of the second son of Solaria. He gains the access to it by exploiting the desire for power in Radius's fiancée Cassandra and her daughter Chimera. While in the palace, Bloom and Valtor run into each other. There is still no news from Aisha, but the rest of the girls arrive to the celebration, where to Stella's dismay, her father announces his engagement to Lady Cassandra. She uses Valtor's powers to transform Stella into a monster and cast a spell on the king, convincing him it is not his daughter. You ain't my mother! Yes, I am! Where is Luna? She's nowhere to be seen. Is she on a cruise? On that 10-year or 4-year cruise? He orders the guards to seize the Winx. The girls are trapped in an aviary tower with the guards right behind them. Stella crashes through the window, free falling, unable to transform into a fairy because of her curse. Bloom, Tekna, Flora, and Musa dive after Stella and have to convert their powers to catch her, but are weakened by dark rain, which is especially weird since it never rains in Solaria. Sky and Brandon catch up to the girls, but have to distract the guards while the girls escape. After a bit of kindness from the royal dogs, who recognize the princess, the fairies follow the path that Stella used as a teenager to sneak out to parties. But it has since changed, so the girls have to first escape giant spiders and then nearly get killed by leeches. They later arrive at Alfea, where the only solution for the curse found by Concorda seems to be the mirror of truth. Valtor questions the Trix about Bloom, giving them an order to kill the Winx and save Bloom for him. The girls, joined by specialists, leave for the Barrier Mountains. Flora seemingly enchants Brandon to not see the cursed version of Stella, which she feels very insecure about. As the gang approaches the caves, they are first hit by an ice storm, and later with the Mirror's Guardians. Using teamwork, the gang gets rid of the Griffons, but Stella falls out of the ship, with Brandon saving her hanging off a cliff. At the caves, Brandon confesses that he sees the current version of his girlfriend and still loves her. And he encourages everyone to tell her what they see behind the beauty, which touches Stella's heart and breaks the curse. The girls return to Alfea, finding disturbed Aisha there, who tells her friends about the situation on Andros, and the Winx decide to save their friend's homeworld together. A new school year starts at Alfea, and a few freshmen stand out. Stella's friend Nova, who tells her about Solarian gossip, and Galatea, the princess of melody, whom Musa bonds with. Farragonda also explains that the third-year students, including the Winx, are supposed to earn their final fairy form, Enchantix, which is acquired by saving someone from your homeworld. The Winx travel to Andros using Tecna's dimensional passage creator, with Stella staying behind to come up with a plan of breaking Radius's curse, as well as cover the girls for Griselda. She calls in sick, transforming the Pixies and Kiko into the Winx when Griselda shows up to check on them. On Andros, the Winx learn about Valtor's mark and also their inability to break dark spells with their current powers. The Trix keep company to the fairies while Valtor introduces himself to Bloom and hints to some kind of connection between them. Aisha confronts the warlock, which greatly angers him, so he blinds the princess of Andros and vanishes. Tressa, the princess of Underwater Kingdom, queendom again. Why is it called kingdom? Patriarchy. I hate patriarchy. And asks for help in rescuing her mother, Queen Ligeia. Queen Ligeia is mother. She is not in the Bob squad. However, she is in the Motherverse. Oh, I'm sorry. Fuck, marry, kill. The Bob squad. Fuck, marry, kill. Griselda, Sky, Vanessa, and Murda. I would kill Murda. I'm sorry, lesbians. I'm sorry, everyone. I would fuck Griselda, because I wouldn't marry Griselda. She's too much. She is just that girl. I love that girl to death. But we wouldn't be able to live together, because I'm quite neurotic. So two neurotic bitches. I would fuck Griselda, though. I would fuck Sky. I mean, and I would marry Miss Vanessa. She's a perfect wife. Who are we fighting? The Bob Squad. We're fighting
This is Mr. Bonner,
who left prison. Our arch nemesis is Mr. Boner. We hate him. Of course we do. We're a bunch of lesbians. And Sky. I guess he hates boners as well. Later, Skater. So, the Winx travel to the bottom of the trench. First, attacked by the Valtor-controlled mermaids, then by a living coral, and finally by a kraken who guards the queen. On their way to the surface, Ligeia promises to use her healing powers of the coral gem to restore Aisha's sight. But she is impaled by the kraken. As the sun sets and the scepter absorbs the last sun rays, Aisha uses it to heal Queen Ligeia, which acts as her sacrifice, granting Aisha the power of Enchantix. At Alfea, Stella learns of her disinheritance by Solaria's royal family, so she decides to go home, transforming the Pixies into the Winx. But Piff, as Stella, sleepwalks around the campus, and when Griselda catches on to Stella's scheme, a great punishment is on the horizon. Valtor and the Trix attack a sparrow, stealing all of the magical spells from the kingdom. Upon their return to Alfea, the Winx are immediately brought into Fergonda's office, where the headmistress tells the girls about another perk of their new form, Fairy Dust, which is able to break dark spells, including Aisha's blindness. Griselda, however, greets the girls with a punishment, organizing books in the library without magic. A rule which Stella breaks, of course, creating more work for the gang. After learning about a new threat, Fergonda places a barrier on Alfea to protect both the students and the school itself, with Griselda authorizing who gets in and out. Bloom and the rest of the girls are invited to the Millennium Party on Heraklion, where Sky wants to announce Bloom as his girlfriend to the world. Valtor continues his scheming path to power, using Diaspora as a pawn, and giving her a potion she can control Sky with. The Winx and the Specialist arrive on Heraklion, and during the Millennium Party, as Sky is approaching the podium to announce his relationships with Bloom, he is enchanted by Diaspora's drink, making Prince turn on all of his friends, call the Winx witches, and start an actual witch hunt on royal grounds, erupting in violence and danger for all of the guests. As the girls reach the ship, Stella notices abandoned Radius in grave danger, so she rushes to help him, sacrificing herself in the process, earning her Enchantix, but not having enough time to break the spell put on him by Cassandra. Bloom is devastated by Sky's sudden change, as well as some of Alfea's students' parents' concerns about her staying at the school when a powerful warlock is after her. So due to all of the pressure, she leaves Magix for Gardenia. However, she doesn't stay in the comfort of Vanessa and Mike's home for too long, since Sky announces his engagement to Diaspora, and the girls leave to Heraklion to confront him. As soon as the girls enter the palace, Diaspora calls the guards on them. So a fight ensues, during which Brandon is captured, and Valtor's mark is revealed on Sky. Stella uses her fairy dust to break the spell. At Alfea, the girls find Aisha crying in her dorm. She has brought some bad news. Her parents arranged a marriage with a wealthy suitor named Nabu. Bored of Andros, Valtor listens to the Trix and decides to move his lair to Cloud Tower, locking Griffin up and marking all of the witches. Under his control, the witches attack Alfea, and Valtor challenges Fergonda to a duel. As the protection barrier around Alfea is destroyed, the Trix sneak in to steal powerful spells, making Galatea their hostage. They find the library, but being outnumbered, the witches escape, setting all of the books on fire. Galatea almost dies, but is saved by Musa, earning the third member of the Winx Club, her Enchantix. Post her battle with Valtor, Fergonda has disappeared. So the Winx, Murda, and the Pixies leave for the Gloomywood Forest to find the headmistress, which leads them to Cloud Tower, where after a confrontation with Valtor, they learn the truth. Fergonda has been fused with a tree by the warlock. The Winx travel to Flora's home planet Lynphea to bring some time-reversing water to free Fergonda. They meet Flora's sister, Miele, there, and are also attacked by the Trix. During one of the fights, Flora sacrifices herself for Miele, only to receive the power of Enchantix. The Winx return to Magix and rescue Fergonda. And also the Trix are transformed into teenagers for a bit, for like a gag. Do anything for the gag. The unstable Omega portal endangers not only the existence of Andros, but all life in the magical dimension. So the Winx travel there to prevent the worst from happening. As the portal doors become more unstable, Tecna uses all of her powers to destroy the gate, saving all life in the universe, which grants her the power of Enchantix, but also locks her in the Omega dimension, where her survival is highly unlikely. Now that Tecna is presumably dead, the girls decide to dismantle the Winx Club. But before, they go to Cloud Tower to avenge their friend. Aisha frees Griffin, and the headmistress joins Farganda to protect the girls from Valtor, who is stronger than the Winx. Farganda teleports Bloom to Pyros, the island of dragons, to potentially find a way to improve her powers. As soon as she leaves, Sky comes to apologize for the debacle on Heraklion, and Stella finally reunites with Brandon. Oh god, I cannot hit a single note I want. Yes. On Pyros, Bloom is in danger everywhere she goes, but she also meets a young dragon named Buddy who needs her protection, and turns out to be her personal dragon. Stressed out Valtor decides to conquer another world with the encouragement of the Trix, so he steals the source of powers of the planet Om.
If it ain't green, I'm not interested, okay?
Okay. Timmy doesn't give up the hope of finding Tecna, so with Sky's help, he builds a satellite communicator, which detects Tecna, still alive, on Omega. Bloom meets a Pyros local, Maya, who gives her a pep talk and presents with a vial, which contains the essence of Pyros. As Maya helps Bloom train her powers, she reveals that the flame of Pyros is distinctive from the dragon's flame, so she would be unable to recreate the island's magic. Attacked by the Trix, Bloom uses all of her strength and willpower and forces herself to earn Enchantix. Though incomplete, she is still able to kick the witches' butts. Everyone leaves for Omega, only Sky and Riven stayed behind at the Red Fountain. On Omega, the gang is quickly attacked by local criminals, the specialists are caught, and the Winx fall off a cliff. Upon returning from Pyros, Bloom reconciles with Sky and immediately sets off to Omega, where she has an emotional reconnection with Tecna. Together, they first rescue the boys and then try to help Stella, Aisha, Musa, and Flora to escape the captivity of the Ice Serpent, Omega's guardian, leading it towards the prisoners, which grants the gang enough time to fly home. The fairies organize a slumber party and celebrate the revival of the Winx Club. Valtor and the Trix have abandoned Cloud Tower, so the specialists are on a mission of returning the school back under Griffin's control. At Alfea, the Winx have a training for Enchantix fairies, and everyone but Bloom aces theirs, all due to the incomplete nature of her powers. Valtor's spells are becoming too powerful for one person to control, so he plans to steal the Ekdor box from the Museum of Magics, announcing his arrival in advance, only to mislead the security and lock them in the vault. While in Magics, the girls are spied on by a wizard named Alfea, who has a peculiar interest in Aisha, but they don't have enough time to confront him due to Valtor's attack, which they quickly recognize as bluff. The Winx are almost successful at stopping Valtor's plan, but he uses Alfea as bait, and Aisha exchanges the box for the boys' safety. The Winx sneak into Radius and Cassandra's wedding disguised as aerial motorists. And Stella not only reveals the true allegiance of Cassandra's, but also frees her father from the mind control spell, banishing Chimera and her mother from Solaria. Where have you been, Luna Queen? Luna Queen, where have you been, Luna Queen? Where have you been, Luna Queen? We missed you, bitch. Where? Even meanwhile, are in another relationship crisis, during which Musa confides in Aisha.
How can you stay with someone who doesn't fully trust you?
Well, that's easy. You just don't.
Aisha said, "You're in a crisis, I'm on my way." And then she said, "Break up with that stupid boy." Valtor attacks the Fortress of Light, so all Alfea fairies go on a mission to find his new hideout, which results in failure. The Pixies and Kiko meet the Trix in the gloomy wood forest, who are bickering about Valtor, and the small creatures kick the witches' butts. Since both Valtor's and Bloom's powers stem from the same source, the Winx try to attack her as a way of finding a spell that could defeat the warlock, but they are unsuccessful. So they go looking for the water stars. The Winx and the Pixies, joined by Timmy and Sky, travel to the other side of the barrier mountains to Red Tower, which serves as a portal to the Golden Kingdom. Alfea sneaks on board, and since almost everyone is suspicious of his connection to Valtor, he is put in cuffs that would prevent him from using magic. Upon arriving to their destination, first, the ship goes haywire, then they are attacked by one-eyed monsters, and later, flying centaurs. During the fight, Alfea proves himself to Aisha, but is confronted by jealous Riven, who arrives after misunderstanding Flora's video message and thinks there is something going on between Alfea and Musa. The girls arrive at a small door and use their fairy dust to clean themselves of all of the darkness as well as miniaturize, which Bloom is incapable of, so she stays behind with the boys. In the Golden Kingdom, the Winx present their case before the Council of Elders, and 3 of them are put through a test. Tecna gives up her emotions, Stella, Beauty, and Musa a chance to revive her mom, which proves their altruism, and they are granted the water stars. Outside, Bloom and the specialists are attacked by Trix, but they defeat the witches without much trouble. Valtor challenges the remaining Company of Light to a fight, making Cloud Tower disappear as bait, so Farragonda, Griffin, and Saladin accept his invitation. The Warlock battles Headmasters one by one, but he actually casts a spell that makes them fight each other, escaping the battlefield to rob Alfea of its powerful spells. The Winx are about to use the water stars on Valtor, but as the last person who saw Bloom's parents, he reveals their fate. He absorbed Marion and Oritail, so if Blooms destroys him, she loses the chance to ever see her birth parents again. Not knowing if he's lying, Bloom lets him escape. While partying in Magic City, Alfea reveals his true identity. His name is Nabu, and he has been following Aisha to get to know his arranged fiancé before the marriage. And to his surprise, he fell in love. Aisha reciprocates his feelings, so the lovebirds meet their parents, who seem to change their tune about marriage and allow their children to take time. Bloom has an urge to talk to the ancestral witches to find out if Valtor is lying about her parents' fate. But they first need to locate the Cloud Tower to contact the witches. Turns out, it has been covered by an invisible barrier, so the Winx use the water stars and their fairy dust to break Valtor's spell. Valtor gives the Trix the power of Disenchantix, but Icy seems to be questioning his fear of dealing with Bloom alone. In their battle with the Winx, the witches lose once more. Bloom finds the crypt, and the ancestral witches reveal that Marion and Oritail are out there, somewhere impossible for her to reach. Valtor, ridiculed by Trix, transforms into a monster and utilizes his most powerful spell, sending the 4 elements throughout magics. Water to Cloud Tower, fire to Alfea, wind to Red Fountain, and earth to Magic City. The Winx confront Valtor, but he is able to steal the water stars from them during the fight. So the fairies are powerless against his magic. As her last-ditched effort, Bloom uses fairy dust and manages to break the lock on Agdar's box, releasing all of the spells Valtor has been collecting, returning them to their homeworlds, and saving magics. The Trix ditch Valtor, but are captured and sent back to Light Rock. After the fire, the forest around Alfea is completely burned down, but the combined powers of Aisha and Flora restore it. Valtor kidnaps the specialists and leaves Helia as a messenger. So he and Naboo join the Winx on Andros, where Stella, Tecna, Musa, and Bloom try to rescue their respective boyfriends from the spell of the elements, only for them to turn out to be doppelgangers. While Flora, Aisha, Helia, and Naboo rescue the boys, Bloom hits Valtor with the Dragon Fury, which desactivates the doppelganger. While unconscious, the ancestral witches trap Valtor in his monster form and send him to complete the mission of destroying magics. Bloom's essence enters Valtor's body and extinguishes his internal flame using fairy dust. Valtor's remaining life force goes drifting around the universe. During the end of the year party, Fergonda tells Bloom that she is ready to start the quest of finding her parents. The Winx travel to a remote castle where Hagen, a former member of Company of Light and a swordsmith who created King's Oratail's sword, lives. They dismantle the army of his robot guards, which makes him hold Bloom with his sword at her throat, when Fergonda arrives and diffuses the situation. A graduation ceremony is held at Alfea, where all of the Winx except Bloom become the guardian fairies of their respective planets. Meanwhile, Bloom questions Hagen about a way of fighting her parents through the sword he has made, but he is pessimistic about such possibility. Tearful, she goes to Alfea's roof, where she is comforted by Sky. Later that evening, there is a party at Alfea, but Sky leaves abruptly, without explanation, with a mysterious girl asking Bloom to trust him. The girls comfort her, and they spend their last night together, pillow fighting and talking about the future. Next morning, everyone leaves, and Bloom goes home to Gardenia. Daphne comes to Bloom in her dreams again. She tells her not to give up, and about the Book of Fate she needs to find on Domino. The nymph passes her mask onto Bloom, so her little sister can see the planet as though it was before the destruction. Bloom wakes up only to realize it's her birthday, and all of her friends and Sky surprise her with a party. Bloom is delighted to tell them about Daphne, and everyone supports her plan to go to Domino. Bloom's energy splash wakes up the ancestral witches, who see her as a great threat, and since they are locked in the realm of Obsidian, they send their minion Mandragora to destroy Domino's last spark. The Winx and the Specialists arrive on Domino and locate the mythological bird Rock, which guards the library. While climbing it, the Specialists wake up the creature, with only Musa's singing saving the day and putting the bird back to sleep. In the royal library, the ghost of Bartleby, Oratail's scribe, shows Bloom the Book of Fate and explains that her parents are lost in the realm of Obsidian. Riven is bitten by one of Mandragora's flies, making him the witch's spy. Again, Alfea is attacked by Mandragora and her army of insects, significantly damaging the school in the process. By team effort, they are able to exterminate the evil, and with the help of the Pixies, the fairies, and the professors restore the school. Now the Winx and the Specialists are off to Obsidian, making a stop in the Pixie village, where Loquette finds a key for the portal door. Riven betrays his friends at the entrance to Obsidian, and due to his actions, Mandragora captures the Specialists. All of the girls get separated, and Musa is at the brink of death. This melts Riven's heart, breaks Mandragora's spell, and he helps his friends. The darkness of Obsidian drains all of the energy out of the Winx, but Sky comes to rescue and tries to take Oratail's sword out of stone. Even though only a true king can touch it. With Sky seemingly dead, Bloom feels all alone and is ready to give up. When Daphne comes through the mask, and together they blast the witches with a powerful beam and destroy Obsidian. Sky survives to fulfill the prophecy since he has become the crowned king of Heraklion. And it returns the citizens of Domino back to their kingdom, with the planet rising from eternal ice. Bloom's family reunites. A celebration for the rebirth of Domino is held, and the Winx are pronounced the new Company of Light. Now free from their eternal captivity in Obsidian, the ancestral witches team up with the Trix for the destruction of all good. A new school is kicked off at Alfea, and this time the welcoming ceremony does not only include live coverage from Magic's TV, its most famous alumni, the Winx Club, but also the Witches of Cloud Tower, who enchant the food to transform its consumers into frogs as a prank. The Trix are presumably reformed. I mean, I guess they could have escaped the Light Rock, but if they escaped, they wouldn't be walking freely, but quickly return to their old ways by attacking the Winx. And while the girls are dealing with their nemesis as well as a frog infestation, Darcy steals a magic compass from Alfea, fleeing the scene. Meanwhile, on Domino, Bloom is living her princess fantasy, though it seems much duller than she expected. While she's out horse riding, Sky whisks her away on a magical date, proposing at the end of it. Back on Heraklion, Sky's news of proposal deeply upsets Arendor, who tells his son about the guilt he has been carrying for years and prohibits Sky from marrying Oritel's daughter. So, when Sky breaks the news to Bloom, she is devastated. To ease her pain, Oritel organizes a contest to find her husband without asking Bloom, the news of which are immediately reported around the world. The Winx come to Domino, bothered by Bloom not telling them first. During Bloom's personal bachelorette contest, Sky sneaks in disguise and promises to explain everything. But Oritel disrupts this reunion, banishing the prince from both Domino and ever seeing his daughter again. This whole fight erupts in Bloom and the girls, leaving Domino for Gardenia. The Trix reveal the next part of their plan, finding the Pixie village, which Icy knows the location to. Why did he need to steal the compass? My theory is Icy got lobotomized. She did find the Pixie village in season 2. She knows the location to it. It was very easy, actually. You just go through the forest, bitch. You can find it. Like, I can't believe that the forest is even that big for the plot to even exist of no one being able to find the village. You have modern technology. Use a camera through the fucking forest. You will find it. It's not endless. The Trix were lobotomized in Light Rock. That's why they are reformed. So,
What now?
Once there, the Trix locate the Tree of Life, containing both positive and negative energy, and by using a powerful spell, they disrupt the balance. The negative takes control, rendering all fairies powerless. But there seems to be a spark of it left on Heraklion, so the Trix are headed there. Oritel reads the scroll Arendor gave to Sky, explaining his betrayal, so he and Miriam come to Gardenia to talk. But Bloom storms off to Heraklion, where Sky is waiting for her. The Winx travel to the lost city of Havram to restore positive magic. Arendor is captured by the witches, but Oritel comes to his rescue and they escape together. With everyone now in Havram, the confrontation is unavoidable. The ancestral witches reveal themselves to still be alive, and during the fight, Oritel, Sky, and Arendor resolve their beef. Icy accidentally hits the magical plant instead of Bloom, releasing all of the positive energy and granting the Winx their powers back. The Trix, knowing they fucked up, try to flee the scene, but are instead possessed by the ancestral witches, making them Super Trix, which is such a dumb name. Why not Ancestral Twix? Twinks. Ancestral twinks. That's what I want to be when I grow up. The ancestral twink. With everyone fighting side by side, it takes a convergence spell to destroy the ancestral witches. Unconscious Erendor, who sacrificed himself for Bloom during the fight, is revived by leftover pollen from Oritail's sword. These two acts of selflessness restore Havrim to its previous glory, as well as restoring the magical balance all around the universe. The Trix are captured once again.
The next day.
Today I'm giving Valor curtains. I'm giving theater. I'm giving Marilyn Monroe. I'm giving aquatic. So the look is giving.
People say that too. Like it's giving green couch. No, it's a fucking green couch. It's not giving anything.
Have you ever worn wigs blonde like Marilyn Monroe? Have you ever been afraid of Scarecrow? Have you ever tried Molly at Disneyland? Have you ever met an attractive man? Starting from this year, the Winx are holding teaching positions at Alfea. To their surprise, they were even moved out of their dormitories. The girls are also given a tour around the secret room, the Hall of Enchantment, where they learn about a new power, Believix. The girls also start their own class, Winxology, and decide to go through an obstacle course to demonstrate the abilities of an Enchantix fairy. One of the students, Clarice, is annoyed by their know-it-all energy, so she plants a firebomb in the obstacle course, exploding it during the demonstration and injuring Flora. Clarice's friend Alice gets blamed for the accident because of the planted evidence in her backpack. So, she's expelled. Flora wants to talk to her, but instead of finding the fairy, she meets the Wizards of the Black Circle in Alfea's courtyard. The Winx attacks are powerless against the wizards, so they quickly catch Bloom and fulfill their mission, catch the last Earth Fairy. Of course, Bloom doesn't match the description, so the Dark Portal rejects her and the wizards vanish. The Winx have made up their mind about their next mission, finding the last Earth Fairy. First, they need to go to the Tree of Life in the Pixie Village to find her location. When they drop unannounced, all of the pixies are gone, and later turned out to be eaten by a monster from Piff's nightmares, created by the Dream Eater butterfly. The course for their next adventure is set. Earth's last fairy resides in Gardenia. Fergonda asks the specialist to keep tabs on the mission in secret, since the Winx confidence level is down after their defeat. In Gardenia, the Winx are temporarily staying with Mike and Vanessa while looking for jobs, but quickly realize that both arrangements don't quite work out. During one of their gigs, Flora transforms a bunch of stuffed toys ready for utilization into magical flying pets, which gives the girls an idea for opening their own business. Love's Pet is established, a shop and a beauty salon, where anyone can get a magical pet for free, but all of the amenities are extra and are done by the Winx. The last fairy of Earth walks by and emits strong energy, but the girls confuse it with the one of wizards, so they follow the trail, only to be dumbfounded by the lack of results. The Wizards of the Black Circle arrive to Gardenia, as well as the specialists who are trying to fit in. Sky trades his seal of Heraklion for money to pay for the apartment, food, and clothes. Let's talk about the downgrade of the specialist's outfits, because they were sickening. Brandon in a crop top, the Union Jack ribbons number. Where are the tank tops? Sir, get the tank top back on. Get back to the tank tops. Cut that cloth off. Up, down. Boy turning me inside out.
Oh, don't make me sing.
Yes, everyone is.
Don't make me sing.
The grand opening of Love and Pet does not bring a single customer. However, Tecna creates a website through which people can acquire a pet, and the service becomes an instant hit. Bloom reunites with her high school boyfriend Andy, who is hot now and has his own band. And the girls are invited to the Fruity Music Bar to watch their performance. The Winx falsely identify Earth's last fairy, so the wizards show up to engulf her into the black circle. The specialists also reveal themselves, but the confrontation is quickly over since the girl is not the one. However, the Winx and their boyfriends have a quarrel due to their trust issues. The wizards transform the magical pets into monsters, but the fairies defeat them and break the spell. One pet was adopted by Mitzi, so the Winx rush to her home to reverse the curse. Brandon saves her from the monster, making Mitzi instantly fall in love with him and kiss him in front of Stella, who gets insanely jealous. Specialists try to find a job as mechanics, only to realize that their knowledge of aircrafts from Red Fountain is useless on Earth, and only lose money instead of earning them. The Winx invite their boyfriends for dinner to clear the air, but before, they need to finesse their apartment. Andy and his bandmates arrive earlier and give them a hand. Mitzi, determined to break Stella and Brandon up, takes a photo of them hanging out as compromising evidence of their infidelity and sends it to Brandon. Specialists show up earlier than expected, and the whole situation blows up in the girls' faces. The girls go to investigate the person who downloads multiple magical animals under different usernames, only for it to be Roxy, the barman from Fruity Music, who also turns out to be Earth's last fairy. She, of course, doesn't believe the Winx and thinks of them as crazy. Running away from the fairies, Roxy encounters the wizard, but despite all of the evidence, doesn't believe in the magic's existence. Only after her dog R2 is heard, Roxy starts to have faith in Winx, and her belief is enough to grant them the power of Believix. When I close my eyes, when I'm high and I try to imagine myself like transforming into a fairy and flying around, yes, I do that. Do not judge me. That's how I spend my high time. I do imagine all of those sounds because season 4 has very recognizable motifs like dun, 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 and those like wings sounds like shoo, shoo. Now with a power upgrade, the Winx are able to fight back. And as Roxy flees the scene, both the fairies and the wizards scatter around Gardenia to look for her. Roxy sees a vision of a woman from her dreams, who encourages the young fairy to believe in herself. The specialists come to help, and being outnumbered, the wizards backtrack for now. Roxy's father Klaus hires all of the specialists except for Timmy as waiters at Fruity Music Bar, and all couples except Stella and Brandon reconcile their differences. The girls inform Fergonda about their success, and she tells them about 3 pairs of wings they have acquired with Believix, even though Musa have already fucking told them at the beginning of the episode. Who wrote that? There was no AI. Who fucking wrote that? Why would you first say something at the beginning of the episode as Musa's idea, and then repeat it, and make Musa act as it is new information? Was she lobotomized? Was Musa lobotomy victim as well? Not only the Trix, but also Musa? I mean, in season 5, 6, all of them get lobotomized, so I guess that is foreshadowing, for sure. Roxy has been dreaming about the mysterious woman once again, but this time she wakes up with a bunch of photos being scattered around the room. Every time she picks them up, they regroup in the same way, seemingly pointing to a location. A farm deep in the country, which Roxy visited a lot as a child. The Winx depart, finding out that the farm is now owned by a mean man named Batson, who has since used up all of the natural resources and drained the place of its natural beauty. The wizards follow the girls, and when they are prepared for attack, the Winx find the white circle hidden on the farm, which burns Ogron and grants Roxy power to summon all forest creatures. Defeated, the wizards leave. Bloom uses her Believix powers to make Batson realize his mistakes and transform the farm back to a prosperous land. At Fruity Music Bar, Musa is invited on the stage to perform, which sparks the interest of a music producer, Jason Quinn, who leaves his card for her. Meanwhile, Stella battles Mitzi for Brandon with the song. Bloom comforts Roxy like an older sister. She also gives Roxy the white circle as a symbol of her power. I love the dynamic of Bloom being an older sister. I hate that it was wasted. Was not returned to. But then, I guess when Daphne returns, there is no like older sisterly dynamic between her and Bloom. When she returns, she's like this clumsy little bimbo. They don't do sisterly things whatsoever. She's like a professor at Alfea, which is cool, good for her. I mean, get that coin, girl. Earn that money. I hope Alfea pays well. I hope there are health benefits. I hope you get a medical checkup every year, unlike Mei Lang, who fucking died. Riven is being obnoxiously jealous, who's surprised, of the attention Musa's getting and the time she's spending with men. That is phrased weirdly. Musa does spend a lot of time with people who are men, but she's not in the bathhouse. She's not sucking dick and cock. It's okay, Riven. It's what you want to do. I know you're closeted bisexual ass. I know why those emotions come. 'Cause you want to suck that dick. Even though she's only focused on achieving her dreams. And Nabu tries to give Riven a pep talk. Arendor visits Gardenia in search of Prince Sky, who has been neglecting his royal duties. Sky is afraid to disappoint his father with the life he has chosen for himself. But after the fiasco with the seal of Heraklion is resolved with the help of Musa's Believix powers, the king supports Sky's path. He even hands his son some money, but the prince rejects it, stating that he's learning the way of living independently. Nebula gains control over Roxy's mind and body through the white circle and attacks the wizards, defeating them easily. The Winx follow her and try to help, exorcising Nebula's spirit, only for Roxy to wake up oblivious. A party is held at the pet shop, and Tecna reveals that she has secretly recorded Musa singing, and it went absolutely viral on the internet. The Winx are trying to make the people of Gardenia believe in magic, so Tecna connects to a police radio wave to help people in need. Arriving to a burning building, the Winx save a group of people from a fire, particularly Aisha, who saves the little girl and makes her believe in magic using her Believix spell. Bloom rescues her dad and heals him. The source of the fire turns out to be dark magic, and the fairies kick the wizards' butts. Asses. And usually, season 3, I used to write kick their butts. But season 4, we're adults now, so let's say asses. I guess we follow the Winx mythology and they grow up. Which means in season number 5, I'm gonna say they kicked their goo-goo gagas. The mission is successful because more and more people believe in magic. Riven accompanies Musa to her audition with Jason Quinn, and she blows it out of the water, but Riven makes them late, embarrasses Musa with jealousy, and acts incredibly unsupportive towards her. So she decides to break up with him. The Winx continue using their Believix spells to improve people's lives, but find it hard to make them grateful and actually believe in magic. Tecna approaches the girls with the case of the acrobat thieves, who organize robberies around town. But the Winx are unsuccessful at catching them. During the dates with Aisha, Nabu proposes. When she tries to spill the beans with the girls the next day, Stella, still sore about their inadequacy with the thieves, mocks Aisha's obsession with Nabu. Aisha angrily storms off. The Winx encounter the acrobat thieves once again, but this time Aisha joins them and they come out on top. Aisha reveals the news to her friends. Roxy's powers are growing. She can make animals speak now. With Bloom's encouragement, Roxy decides to tell Klaus she is a fairy. During the confession, he mocks her, and even talking R2 fails to prove the existence of magic. Turns out her dad has been kidnapped and she's talking to Dumont in disguise. The Wizards of the Black Circle show up, capture Roxy, and ask for the White Circle as ransom. The Wizards schedule a meeting at the Fruity Music Bar, while Gantlas watches their prisoners. R2 comes to rescue with the fairy animals, but Gantlas injures him. Provoking a strong reaction out of Roxy, she transforms into a fairy form for the first time. A fight erupts between the two sides, and the specialists join in, with Klaus now in the know about their secret identities. While Bloom is trying to manage Roxy's emotional breakdown at the train station, the rest of the team are battling the wizards all around the city. A classic doppelganger maneuver is used by Dumont twice, once on Stella, and the real Brandon apologizes for the Mitzi fiasco, and the second time it happens with Musa, but she recognizes Riven because of his stubbornness. Aisha, Nabu, and Sky fight Ogron on a moving train, and it pulls into the station, where Ogron uses Bloom's attack against her. With no one left to protect Roxy, Ogron summons the other wizards and their Black Circle vortex. The mysterious lady from her dreams inspires Roxy to continue fighting. The Wings protect the people of Gardenia, which makes them believe in magic and significantly weakens the wizards. Unable to battle, they leave. The Earth branch on the Tree of Life starts blooming with multiple new sprouts. The girls have a video call with Farragonda, who offers to inspect the White Circle and take it for safekeeping. Headmistress also invites Roxy to study at Alfea for 3 years. But the young fairy has been battling with her feelings of not wanting her life to change, so she freaks out and runs away. The Winx are getting more and more famous by day, and during their patrol over Gardenia, the press tries to interview the fairies in the sky, only for the cameraman to fall out of the helicopter. After saving him live on air, their actions attract even more publicity. Roxy finds a lion cub who has escaped from the poacher's captivity, and the girls decide to free the rest of the animals. The Winx are instantly disarmed using some nets and sleeping gas and put into cages unconscious. Upon waking up, Musa uses her Believix spell to make the poachers see harm in their actions and let everyone go. Musa receives an envelope from Jason Quinn, hoping for some love sign from him, but it turns out to be an invitation to sing at his wedding. The Winx are all over TV now. Gossip programs, game shows, live news coverage, and even little children start to dress up as them. With more and more people believing in fairies, their magic becomes stronger, which prompts the wizards to hatch up a plan. Making people scared of magic by giving Darcy and her two friends Dharma and Sally powers, which they would use against ordinary people. Roxy invites the girls to a picnic after a hard day of work. Once they are having fun at the park, training Roxy in some basic magic, Ogron's prodigies attack, making people fearful of all things magic. While Bloom and Stella fight Mitzi's gang, Tecna, Aisha, Flora, and Musa lead people to safety and use their Believix to return people's faith in them, destroying Ogron's plan. The Winx attend Jason Quinn's wedding. He comforts Musa about her feelings, and she performs a song with Andy's band. Using their Tracix wings to find out about the White Circle's past, the Winx learn that there is still a chance to save the Earth Fairies. Tecna hides the artifact in her game for safekeeping, but the wizards hijack the computer and enter the game to steal it. The Winx follow, fighting the wizards in the virtual world and preventing their enemies from getting hold of the White Circle. The Winx decide to form a band, and during practice, Riven distracts Musa with endless romantic gestures, encouraged by Helia and Nabu. The whole thing blows up, but the two clunkily patch things up, with Musa still unsure of their future. The Winx arrive on Tir na nog to free the Earth Fairies. But first, they need to find the portal. Roxy immediately faints and receives instructions from Morgana. The rest of the girls set up a camp and wander around the island, leaving Roxy protected by the Morphix barrier created by Aisha. As soon as Roxy wakes up, she sees a dark smoke cloud monster who breaks the barrier and captures her. During the expedition, the Winx are captured one by one. First Flora and then the rest of the girls by the same smoke monster. For Aisha, Stella and Bloom, it turns into creatures from their dreams to lure them into a false feeling of safety. They all wake up in a dungeon where the Earth Fairies were kept before imprisonment. While the others are fighting the Dark Guardian, Bloom and Roxy successfully find the correct gate and open the doors to the realm of the Earth Fairies, freeing them. The Winx meet the lady from Roxy's dreams, Queen Morgana, but their happiness quickly evaporates as the fairies announce their quest for revenge, not only for the wizards, but all humans. The Winx proclaim their disdain for such course of action and are pronounced enemies to the Earth Fairies. The girls leave the island disappointed. The Winx participate in a new band competition at the Fruity Music Bar for a chance to win a contract with Jason Quinn. During their band practice, Diana, a major fairy of nature, appears, asking the girls whether they have changed their minds about Morgana's plan. They decline joining the revenge quest. She then ties the Winx with power-draining veins, but Nabu manages to free them. The girls and the specialists follow Diana, only to find Gardenia transformed into a jungle. Separated, the fairies save Bloom's parents from a web of a giant spider, while the specialists deal with Diana in the Gardenia Park. By the time the Winx catch up, Diana has defeated all of the boys and taken the specialists as prisoners, leaving to her kingdom with only Nabu staying behind. Upon contacting Faragonda, they learn about the location of Diana's kingdom, the Amazon forest, as well as a new power upgrade necessary for their mission. 3 ethereal fairies appear to present them with the gifts of destiny. The first one is wisdom, required for the quest in the Amazon jungles. The girls and Nabu leave, while Roxy stays behind, since without Believix powers, she is not ready to take on this challenge. In the Amazon, the local warrior fairies are monitoring the grounds, so the Winx transform into their civilian forms to become unnoticeable without their magic trace, while Nabu goes to investigate Diana's palace. The Winx see the destruction of the rainforest done by humans and use their Sophix power-ups to connect with the nature on a deep level, repair the damage, and change people's hearts, which questions the all humans are bad narrative for some of the Amazon fairies. Tekna, Stella, and Bloom go looking for the sacred sprout, the source of Diana's magic, as well as this ecosystem. They are greeted by the native people who express deep gratitude with the work done by the Winx. Meanwhile, Aisha, Flora, and Musa travel to the castle, find the prison where the specialists are held, only to get caught by the guards and imprison themselves. The rest of the Winx are tossed into the prison, where Diana is about to yield her punishment, but senses the return of the deforestation company workers. This time with their boss. The Amazons leave, so Bloom has the chance to heal unconscious Nabu, and the girls use a convergence spell to free everyone. The Amazon fairies and Diana are unable to fight the humans, greatly weakened by the destruction of nature, so the specialists and the Winx come to the rescue. Despite their disagreements, the girls realize the importance of doing the right thing, so they use their powers to restore the sacred sprout, healing all of the Amazon rainforest. The natives catch Nasser, which restores Diana's faith in humanity. She promises to protect people and try to persuade the rest of the vengeance fairies. She also returns Gardenia to its previous form. The Winx are given their second gift of heart by the ethereal fairies. Musa and Riven get back together. While the Winx are practicing for the competition, the Wizards of the Black Circle arrive at the Fruity Music Bar, asking for the fairies' protection. Since the return of magic to Earth, the Wizards' powers have been rendered useless. Dumont is greatly injured, so they give up the Black Circle to the the Winx. The group teleports to Italy, where the Fairy of Justice, Sibylla, resides, and can grant everyone protection according to the fairy laws. The Winx undergo a set of challenges on their way to Sibylla's cave and prove their courage. Sibylla takes the wizards under her custody until a fair trial commences. The specialists have to step in while the girls are running late, so Nabu enchants musical instruments and they perform as a band, which is just enough extra time for the Winx to return, perform, win the contest, and receive a contract with Jason Quinn. Morgana, displeased with Diana's change of heart, makes Aurora, the major fairy of the north, threaten the world with another ice age, sure that such a threat will force the Winx to surrender the wizards. Another order she gives is not hurting Roxy under any circumstances. The Winx travel to the North Sea to stop Aurora, helping people on their way. At the entrance to the ice tower, the Winx are attacked by polar bears and ice creatures, which Roxy uses to her advantage, making the polar bears switch to their side. The Winx transform into Lavix, proceed through the tower, only to realize they've been led into a trap. Bloom decides to fight against Nebula, a major fairy of war. In case Bloom wins, the Earth Fairies will free the Winx, drop their vengeance quest, and give the wizards a chance to stand a free trial. If she loses, she will bring the wizards to Nebula. Bloom wins the fight, but Nebula, unable to accept defeat, tears a giant chunk of ice and sends it flying straight to Gardenia. Bloom stops it, but loses her consciousness mid-air. Roxy talks to Morgana and asks her to accept defeat in tears, which she does, agreeing with the conditions of the deal. The Winx are given their last gift, the Black One, which brings back the dead and can only be used once. The Winx collect the wizards at Sibylla's cave, but are warned that Duman might not survive the trip to Tirnan Og. Nabu steps in and decides to use healing magic he has learned on Andros. He finds the source, Duman's own shape-shifting powers, and the wizard transforms into a monster, attacking the specialists. Duman reveals their plan. Once Morgana touches the black circle, all of the fairies are doomed. Angered by such betrayal of their trust, Nabu destroys Duman and the boys hurry to warn the fairies. On Tirnan Og, Morgana puts on the ring, which opens a black vortex. While the girls and the specialists prevent the fairies from getting sucked into it, Nabu decides to close the abyss. But it takes all of his powers to do so. As Nabu says his last words, proclaiming his love for Aisha, she is reminded of the black gift. Ogron, however, steals it to revive a dead flower. The wizards escape joyous, leaving Aisha distraught and furious. Nebula is angry with both Morgana and the wizards, so she begins a quest for revenge and invites Aisha to join in. She accepts the offer, while the rest of the Winx proclaim the path of revenge as the opposite of what Nabu would have wanted. Aisha and Nebula leave. While the Winx and the specialists grieve Nabu, Aisha is training. Once the warrior fairies locate the wizards in the Omega Dimension, they prepare to head out. Nebula, confident that Morgana is no longer fit to lead them, stages a coup against the queen, trapping her inside the mirror, which Roxy dreams about, alerting all the others to these events. As the gang fights against the warrior fairies and their close friend, Nebula and Aisha escape to Omega Dimension. As the Winx approach the mirror in Queen's room, Morgana explains that only a person with royal blood of Earth fairies can break the spell, and she reveals that Roxy is her daughter. A crown princess is the only person that holds such power. Once Morgana is freed, everyone heads for Omega. Once there, Morgana reasons with her subjects about the errors of their ways. Most of them give up revenge. The wizards cause the area to cave in, and while the specialists escort fairies back to Earth, the rest of the Winx find Aisha and Nebula fighting the wizards, and the girls join in. Their convergence spell overpowers the three wizards, and they are left forever trapped in solid ice. The area itself starts to collapse. and everyone rushes back to Earth, while Nebula decides to stay, punishing herself for giving in to her dark side. Bloom manages to persuade the fairy, and they leave together at the last moment. Morgana decides to leave for Gardenia to enjoy simple life and appoints Nebula as the queen, since Roxy is too young to lead. Morgana restores Klaus's memories and they reunite happily. The specialist's mission is now over, so they are supposed to come back to Red Fountain and Heraklion, respectively, but the Winx, with their business and music career, decide to stay back. Farragonda visits Earth, and Roxy accepts her invitation to study at Alfea.